Thank you, Ranking Member Warren, for this hearing, and especially thank you for your leadership. It's really hard for me to believe that it was maybe a few weeks ago that I literally sat across from you and asked the origin story of the Financial Protection Bureau, Consumer Protection Bureau, and here we are today actually fighting for the people, fighting for consumers. I want to thank the panelists for your work and also for your story. I think you are representing millions of people, and so thank you so much for your voice. And I don't think the importance of the CFPB can be understated. It created in the wake of one of the worst financial crises in this nation's history. The agency is tasked with protecting all Americans, including older Americans and veterans. It doesn't discriminate and ask you, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat or are you an independent? It stands up for the people. The CFPB has used its civil penalty fund to return money to consumers that were defrauded, that were scammed, that there were predators that went after them. The bottom line is I don't think there's a person in this room or watching who isn't in some way touched by the work of the CFPB. And as was stated, over $20 billion, that's billion with a B, has been returned to nearly 200 million Americans. And in my state of Delaware, over 27,000 consumers have had $14 million returned to them. The chances that the CFPB hasn't helped someone are very low. Yet, the Trump administration, under the leadership of Elon Musk, has ordered the agency to stop its work protecting Americans. And it has fired and threatened to fire hundreds of the very civil servants that help so many Americans. I will start with you, Ms. Salas. My home state of Delaware is home to Dover Air Force Base, several Guard and Reserve facilities, and numerous generations of service members. According to the CFPB Office of Service Member Affairs, the agency has received over 400,000 complaints like the story Ms. McCall shared. Last year, the CFPB saw total complaints from the military community increase by 27% from 2022 and 98% compared to 2021. Taking care and supporting our military families is a priority, and it should be a priority for President Trump. Could you tell us how would the lack of CFPB enforcement impact service members?
I do not know where people go now. Where do they go to file complaints? Yes, the complaint database may still be up, but there's no one to answer those complaints. Those were the basis of all our work. We would look at those complaints constantly to figure out where to put our time, our resources. And I'm really worried about what we used to see is that if people either complain to the Bureau or complain to the companies that sold them the cars or the homes, if they don't come to us, they often go to social media to air their grievances. Mm-hmm. Well, some of the same people who are behind these new products also control social media channels. Mm. So I just don't know what happens to the consumers, to all Americans' voices when they have a problem, when they lose money, when they're charged junk fees, or their car, they wake up to not find their car in the driveway, and they don't know where it went.
I just had a question. Ms. McCall, how did you find out about the CFPB?
It was happenstance. My wife was venting to a friend about the issue we were having with our car, and she recommended looking at the CFPB website. And 5 steps later, I had written up a quick summary, and like I mentioned earlier, 8 days later, we had a resolution.
So to Ms. Salas's point, if there is no website, if there is no place, then we have a problem, particularly for our military. Another area that I've focused on is dealing with seniors being scammed and defrauded. And I want to kind of get to my question because I know time is of the interest. But General Campbell, can you briefly describe the kind of enforcement actions that you've taken to address elder scams? And then piggyback on the question to Ms. Salas, what happens, whether it's a veteran or a senior, right now? What will happen without a CFPB?
Thank you, Senator, for your question. And you're right, regardless of whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or some other party, it doesn't matter. And at least in Massachusetts, every complaint we track them by category, all the scams, and the demographic that is harmed the most is elders. So much so we established an elder justice unit so that all of the complaints across the office could be not only intersectional in our response, but also more impactful. And we work with the Bureau to, of course, take on companies that are targeting, of course, our elders. But we're looking at cryptocurrency, which is a major concern right now, everything having to do with folks who are in our assisted living or nursing homes, and the products and services within those homes or attached to that. The basic consumer protections in terms of companies who are exploiting them, utility costs, you name it, it is significant. And to your point around, yes, state AGs can step up, but in no way will it be equal across the country if you are in a state where you do not have an attorney general that will step up and protect your interest or to protect you against fraud. You really do need this bureau.
Thank you so much, and I yield back.
Thank you.